This video contains spoilers for Masters of the Universe Revelations. Before I get started talking about what I liked and what I didn't like, there's a couple things I want to get out of the way. I was born in the 80s, so I grew up with Masters of the Universe, but I was very young. I'm talking 5, 6 years old when I watched the show and played with the toys. So I hardly remember it outside of the visuals, some of the characters, the catchphrases. And it's not something that I kept watching into adulthood, like, say, Star Wars. Because at the end of the day, Masters of the Universe was a show made to sell toys. Very weird, bizarre toys. Another thing I want to say is that there seems to be a lot of backlash from fans against the show and Kevin Smith himself. And I want to go on record as saying that I think those fans are stupid. And I also think Kevin Smith is stupid as well. Everybody's stupid. Kevin Smith, for essentially baiting and switching what the show is going to be about, that's like the number one thing you don't do. It reminds me of the way Darren Aronofsky's Mother was advertised as like a horror movie, almost like a haunted house movie or something. And the movie turned out to be this art house allegorical Bible film. Nothing like what was advertised. But that did not stop it from being a really good movie. But it's also one of the reasons I don't like to watch trailers more than once, and usually I'll just watch the initial teaser trailer one time. I won't keep watching all the new ones because they just give too much away, or sometimes they straight up lie to you, and you go into the movie with certain expectations because you've been lied to, or maybe you've hyped it up too much in your own mind. I also think there's a large amount of toxicity with properties mostly aimed at men and boys, where like if a female character can just do something in a movie, they think she hasn't earned it, or she's a Mary Sue or whatever. Where there's like infinitely more male characters that can just do things in movies as well and shows. Yet they don't have a problem with that most of the time. I feel like the same people mad at Masters of the Universe Revelations are the same ones that were mad at Mad Max Fury Road. But Mad Max isn't the main character. Like, who cares? It's still a good movie. A great movie, actually. And the difference here is that this one isn't called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It's called Masters of the Universe Revelations. Not He-Man. It's the same kind of mindset that sees like a young girl wearing a band shirt and they have to grill her on what her favorite song is. Have you ever seen that band in concert? You're not a real fan. It's really lame, and it definitely does not go both ways. It's usually these toxic male fans that are the gatekeepers. And before you say I'm being woke or politically correct, I say politically incorrect things in almost all of my videos. And even I get annoyed with these type of fans. Like, I had to seriously think whether I should ask you guys if this counts as a lesbian scene, because it looks like pussy on pussy action to me. But I was like, nah, that's a little immature. Don't put that in there. You shouldn't make gay jokes. So I'm not like this big, woke, politically correct guy. On to what I liked and didn't like about this show. So right off the bat, they kill Prince Adam. So no He-Man. And I didn't see that coming, which is something I like when I watch a movie or a TV show. I want to be surprised. I want to be intrigued. What's going to happen next? They just killed off He-Man. How could they do that? Makes me want to watch more. I found it strange. I didn't like it or disliked it. But what I did like is that He-Man actually pops up here and there in flashbacks or briefly as part of the story later on. And this makes him a more mythical figure, just a more grand and interesting character this way. Because He-Man, to me, is a little like Superman, where he's just really powerful. You know he's gonna win. I mean, what did you guys expect the show to be? Just serialized episodes where He-Man just defeats one of the bad guys? You got the original cartoon made for kids for that. I mean, we're adults now. Do you really want to see like some Power Rangers type of shit? So I really liked the storyline, which is the most important thing. But in a show like this, the action is important too. And I thought the animated action in this was great. It didn't look super cheap or choppy. I liked the style of it. I liked the character designs. They updated a lot of them. And for the most part, I liked what they changed. They're still obviously the characters, just with a slight makeover. So the design of the show, to me, was great. including the landscapes, the colors. It's just such a weird blend of like technology, fantasy, science, the occult. Like, it truly is one of the most bizarre intellectual properties there ever has been. Like, a great example of this is Triclops' like technology cult. He literally goes, "Glory be unto we who live and diode in the mighty motherboard." Live and diode. It's so out there that I just love it. I also really like the musical score.
Halt the heretics! Motherboard demands a sacrifice be made of their fetid flesh!
I thought it was a good choice to make Prince Adam actually look different than He-Man. It gets away from the Lois Lane silliness, where she can't tell the difference between Clark Kent and Superman. It just makes more sense this way. Because even as a kid, I thought that was stupid. I'm like, who else has a little Dutch boy haircut? Only Prince Adam and He-Man. Obviously, it's the same guy. So I really like the He-Man redesign, even though at first I thought that in the He-Man form, the head was a little too small. But in the actual animation with the action going on, it looks fine. And getting rid of the Iron Cross on the chest doesn't bother me either. It's really not that important of a detail. I actually don't like seeing earthly symbols in fantasy or like comic books. It reminds me of the S on Superman's chest, to go back to Superman. But I know it's supposed to be some Kryptonian symbol, but that's an S with serifs and all. It's an S for Superman. And that to me is just weird if he's supposed to be an alien. And it's the same thing for He-Man. The Iron Cross is an earthly symbol, so taking that away is actually better in my opinion. Even though the new symbol somewhat resembles an H, but it's different enough where it doesn't read as a big H to me when I look at it. Not in the same way that the S for Superman does. Teela, to me, was hit and miss. One thing I didn't like was that she never donned her like snake cobra armor, which is like my favorite part about her. And I don't know why. It can't be because it's too silly in a show with like a guy named Stinkor that stinks, or with a techno cult ran by a guy named Triclops, or a talking green tiger. So I wish they would have included that, but it is the first season. Obviously it's set up for a second, so maybe they're saving that. As a main character though, I thought she was fine. And if you're gonna make like an interesting story for adults, you do need your main character to be more like how Teela was in this, instead of an all-powerful He-Man type of character where you're essentially watching toys just fight on screen. What I didn't like though is that I'm pretty sure she's a grown woman, but the way they wrote her, I don't know if it was written by a woman or a man. I'm guessing a man, maybe an older man, but they gave her this weird teenage energy where she's unnecessarily rebellious, a little unreasonable. And it is weird, like when Teela and evil-lyn get together, they basically talk about their crushes, He-Man and Skeletor. Those moments brought me out of the story more than anything. Or like when Teela just like immediately turns on evil-lyn after Orko's death and saying, you know, it should have been you, evil-lyn, not Orko. It's this kind of unreasonable, odd, like teenage energy that I think they needed to work on a little bit more. They needed to rewrite that a little bit better. I also did like that despite them trying to make Teela like this very independent woman at the same time, giving her what honestly looks a little bit like a lesbian haircut, they still had little moments of femininity in there. Like Prince Adam helping her get on that little flying disc thing. Does she need to hold his hand to get on there? No. They could have easily had her swat his hand away and be like, I can do it myself because of girl power or whatever. But they don't do that. Cringor was just that, like really cringe. Every single time he talked, like I literally started questioning what I was doing with my life. Like, what am I doing? What am I watching? I thought Skeletor was good. Like He-Man, his screen time is limited. But again, it's the first season. They're setting up a bigger story. So people really need to chill and be patient. He-Man's probably gonna come back. Just chill. But I thought Skeletor was good. I think the voice acting by Mark Hamill, yeah, is a little close to his Joker voice. But it wasn't that bad that I kept thinking Joker every time. He just sounded like Skeletor with the silliness dialed down a little bit. It wasn't so high-pitched. He didn't have that ridiculous laugh. He wasn't as comical and actually kind of menacing in this, which the bad guy should be. Like, if I want to just get stoned and laugh at silliness, well, I would watch the original. So I liked Skeletor in this. When one of the characters tells him, "Thanks to Man-at-Arms, you're all wet, Skeletor."
Thanks to Man-at-Arms, you're all wet, Skeletor.
Wait, he actually said, "You're all wet"?
He-Man had the sense of humor of a teenager who didn't get out much.
It's like a secret little gay joke in there, which I think is funny.
What if we painted the ship a nice granite?
I really like Lena Headey as evil-lyn. I thought she was perfect. Like I said, I don't read up on this. I don't watch the trailers. I had no idea it was her. I just recognized how good the voice acting was. And when I was done with the show, I was like, I need to look up who that was because I kind of recognize it. And it was just good overall. And it was Lena Headey, who played my favorite character on Game of Thrones. She's just really good at playing evil bitches. So I really liked evil-lyn. And of course, her character design is my favorite of the entire show. I love that helmet. But I liked that they gave her character depth. At the end, when it's revealed that Skeletor was duping everybody and he wasn't really dead, I was expecting evil-lyn to be in on it the whole time. That she was just this two-faced character and all the like subtle good moments she had, like the joke she shared with Orko, was all going to be fake. But it wasn't. She didn't know. And she actually was trying to preserve magic. She did believe in the cause. And I was halfway expecting when she went up to Skeletor, when he came back, to kind of double cross him and try to stab him really quick and take the Sword of Power or something. But her and Beastman just both kind of go, well, Skeletor's back. We're bad guys. I wish they would have done something a little more with that. She gets over it a little too quick. So a little sloppy writing there. But other than that, I really enjoyed her character. I also liked Man-at-Arms. He had like really badass dad energy, which I really liked. And also thought it was funny that, and it had to be intentional. It looks like he had a grow operation going on. Like when he was in exile, it's like, well, don't have much to do. Might as well grow some weed. I liked him overall. I thought the Merman voice actor was pretty bad. And I also didn't like the Roboto voice actor. Like the Roboto voice actor sounded like C-3PO to me. Even though I did like Roboto's arc overall. Especially his death and him finally feeling a feeling even though it was fear. It like validated him as more than machine in his own machine mind before he died. I thought that was pretty cool. I really liked Scareglow in this. His episode was creepy. And the heavy sexual innuendo there when he's telling her to reveal her fear to him and that she was dripping with it. Just the way he says it, to me, came off as a very heavy sexual innuendo that adults will get, but would definitely go over kids' heads. And to me, that's the perfect way of making something for adults and kids.
I will give you that which you seek, Tila, as an exchange.
Exchange for what?
Your fear. Show it to me. Nourish me with your delicious fear.
I fear nothing.
Oh, you are dripping with it.
The scene is scary for kids and interesting to adults, and they just both look at it in a different way. I thought that was excellent. I also really loved the cliffhanger ending. You think Prince Adam is going to turn into He-Man and save the day, but no. Skeletor dishonorably stabs him through the back, kills him once again, and I did not see that coming at all, which is what I want when I watch something. I hate things that are predictable. And even though I understand people that are upset that He-Man wasn't the main character, and then now He-Man is dying again, what a slap to the face of the fans. Grow up. Obviously, this is a cliffhanger. The show ending with the visual of Skeletor with the power rising above the castle was awesome. And it made me want more. And I can't think of a show being more successful than leaving the viewer wanting to watch the second season. I think even the people that hated this aren't going to be able to resist watching the second season. Because I don't know, this show is a good show. I was interested the whole time. I literally binged all 5 episodes all the way through like a big long movie. Which isn't something I do all the time. It was just awesome to me. Visuals, music, story, characters, pacing, the comedy, the action. I kind of loved everything about it. And like I said earlier, overall, it has just great balance when it comes to entertaining children and adults, which to me makes a very successful Masters of the Universe show in 2021, where most of the fans are probably adults and might want to get their kids interested in it as well.